Ladies and gentlemen, invited guests. As German ambassador to Ethiopia, I'm very proud that this conference, Agri-Business4Change, is organized in Ethiopia by GIZ on behalf of the German government. It organizes this conference in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources of Ethiopia, with the Agricultural Transformation Agency of Ethiopia, and with the Ethiopia country module of the global program Green Innovation Center for the Agriculture and Food Sector, commissioned by the Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development in Germany.
Welcome to you, to all of you, for this important event, Agribusiness4Change in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Old African proverb says that if you want to travel very far, travel together. If you want to travel fast, travel alone. Now, in A4SD, we applied that wisdom right from the very beginning. So we got started with the private sector, with the public sector, with donor agencies, and also with philanthropic donors of the private sector in industrialized and developed countries. Now, we work in a lot of countries in Africa. Let me show you a map where you can see the countries that is telling much faster than listing all the countries out.
What is the rationale for this conference? Africa is a young continent in need of jobs, employment, incomes, livelihoods, but also food, processed food, consumer goods coming from raw materials made out of agriculture. Recognizing this and recognizing that so many farms are family farms, it means that agriculture is no longer subsistence, it's a business.
We care for economic growth and long-term food security in Africa and in Ethiopia. Agriculture is a key factor in view of these goals.
The first thing is we exchange knowledge. The first thing in agriculture transformation, we have to share our knowledge, our experience among each countries, because we have different culture, ecological situation, and even we have developed different developmental strategies. So we need to take this experience from one country to another country. Maybe it was tried or it was experienced in one country. If it is good, another country can take it as experience.
This one is a bit different because, in most conferences you meet only English speakers or French speakers, and I have been mainly to English-speaking country conferences. But this one, there are people from South Africa, West Africa, North Africa, everywhere, and have seen many young peoples coming to this conference. And when they speak also you challenge, and when you speak they agree.
To this effect, to enhance such a development, we have developed a long time ago, in 2010, the Farmer Business School as one of the first approaches on business skills in agriculture, and brought that to very large scale implementation together with many partners. This approach is so interesting and is so impacting that the demand is unceasing.
First, we have to modernize our agricultural system. And we need to have an incentive mechanism in agricultural sector, because most young people doesn't have a capital, and even they are not interested to go to the rural place. So we need to modernize the coffee production system. The second is to bring some credit facilities for the young people to enter to the coffee market.
I believe agro-transformation has an important role to play in Africa's development. And the point I was making is basically that the future of agriculture on the continent depends on private sector investment within the sector. And the role of government is to create an enabling environment for the private sector to make those investments.
I believe on-farm processing, especially for the cassava value chain, would have the most impact on value add to the value chain.
We need to modernize agriculture in a way that we give agriculture whatever it requires to do.
I have to say that
for many years we have focused a lot on rehabilitating agricultural areas here. We have been working on agricultural practices, but maybe we have not yet so much looked into the business side of things, into the market orientation of agriculture. And I believe that that's why a conference like this shows us the way how the agriculture in Ethiopia needs to develop in order to raise production, raise productivity, and ensure income and jobs for the huge number of youth in the country.
I think it's very important to include and involve the young people in the transformation of agriculture. In Ethiopia, for example, I think it's almost 80% of the people still live in the countryside, but if young people don't have perspectives and opportunities in the countryside, they will tend all to come to the big cities, which will cause all the problems we know quick urbanization has. Tapping into growth and employment potential of the agricultural sector through agribusiness trainings of young rural people and farmers is thus crucial for political and social stability.
In our country, we have 29 million people in a school system, from down to top. And if you see this number, they will be graduated in a few years, like 500,000 graduates every year, and they need job. And in Ethiopia, 80% of the populations live in farming. So whether you talk about manufacturing or industry, the real opportunity we have at hand is the agriculture.
In every government, in every country, they have the policy at the higher level. But of late, most of the youth are not involved of making those policies. And most of the policies, they're just policies that implementation is not there. So if we are saying we have to engage the young people in agribusiness, we need to engage them also in the decision making. 3/4 of our population in Africa, they're young people less than 30 years. So our parents are aging, they will no longer farm. So if we are not preparing the young people to venture into agribusiness or the production, then we are in fire.
There's a need for a network where young people feel like they can connect to others who have the same purpose as themselves, and who can sort of, from there, they can reach for a bigger purpose, where interacting with a bigger community and interacting with organizations who could serve their interests, and they could also contribute to organizations' interests.
So that's why, these African young people and African bound companies coming together talk, so they can understand the language. So and the solution will be more feasible from one country to another. The solution is more feasible to take from one country to another.